As a recovering people pleaser, okay, I'm raising my hand because that was me. I care about people. I will try my best. But if something triggers someone, if me just trying to show up for myself and talk about things and talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upsets someone, what can I do? Allah gives people faith. Allah gives people the ability to know themselves, to discover themselves. Okay, I don't feel like it. Great. Glad we established that. What's next? Also, I still have to show up for myself when I don't want to, when my feelings don't align with what I need to do. I love how you're just really, comfortable with being yourself. And she was like, I have nothing else that I can be. There's no other option for me except to be myself. Because it's like I will fail at every other thing. I will fail at every other attempt at being someone I'm not. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome back to the Voice of Love podcast. Wow, another video once a month. We're starting somewhere. Assalamu alaikum. Hi, hello, how are you? Welcome back to the Voice of Love podcast, where we talk about all things Islam psychology, life, and everything and anything in between that I want to talk about. In today's episode, we're going to be covering the topic of consistency. And I really wanted to talk about this because it's something I feel like as I continue my content creation journey, as I enter and continue into my mid-20s, there's a lot of conversation around what is it that I want to do with my life and how do I be consistent with the things that are new, that are scary, that are different, and that I haven't been able to yet prove to myself that I'm capable of accomplishing because it's something new. And this has been a major theme over the course of, I would say, the last 1.5 to 2 years. I feel as though once I entered adulthood, once I graduated college, I started working, I started to recognize habits and behaviors that were not very conducive to a productive or healthy lifestyle. And I wanted to change that. And so that was really daunting for me. I didn't know what doing better looked like. I didn't know what accomplishing my goals in a sense of I don't have anyone else to please, so to speak. And when I say that, I mean for my social media goals, right? I never had someone saying, you have a deadline for October 12th. You have to do it in 2 weeks' time. The project is going to take this amount of time. These are the stakeholders you need to talk to along the way. You have a manager who's going to be checking in on you. There's none of that. And when there's the work setting, it's the complete opposite. We have all these things in place to make sure we complete a task. And when I was in school, I still struggled with procrastination, avoidance. I always had anxiety over accomplishing assignments and trying to start on time, but being so afraid to start on time that I would just delay starting. And I recognize a lot of that has to do with fear. A lot of my anxieties and difficulties in starting really came from a place of being afraid of the unknown. And I think even now, I have had a YouTube channel for about 7 to 10 years, I don't even know, which is crazy to even think about, but I've had some videos that I've privated, alhamdulillah, that are literally from like 8-9 years ago, and seeing the journey of my channel, although it hasn't had the audience, so to speak, beyond my friends or my loved ones who have cared to support me, I have seen myself and witnessed the shift of going from wanting to do funny videos, wanting to do skits and covers of singing songs and things like that, to wanting to talk about Islam more, wanting to talk about faith more, wanting to lean into makeup, and so on and so forth. So I've been through a lot of different eras of my channel. I've been through a lot of different phases of what I wanted for myself or what I thought was the right thing to be putting online. And obviously as my faith grew, I navigated being a young adult, being someone who wanted to be online but also wanted to portray a certain aspect of myself that I was comfortable with sharing, and learning what it means to have privacy, learning what it means to be open to sharing your thoughts and ideas, and also taking up space. And I think that was a very big thing for me at the time. I was very afraid to take up space, and I think I'm still unlearning certain aspects of that, but I've come a long way since then. And so on the topic of consistency and what it means to be consistent and how that kind of plays into where I am in my life today, and also my social media journey, as I was talking about, I see that connection between still being afraid to take up space and also not having my emotions be tied to everything. And letting go of my emotions in a healthy way, and doing things afraid. And I know we've heard that quote before. You may or may not have come across it on the internet, but there's this common thing online where it's like people who are courageous, it's not that they don't have any fear, rather it's the fact that they're able to do it scared. They're able to say, okay, I still am scared of this major thing or this gigantic unknown force in my life, but I'm going to try and take on the project. I'm going to try and start the business. I'm going to try and, start having kids, look for a spouse, say I want to look for a spouse, whatever it may be, right? So for me, I think that with content creation, it was saying, I'm going to put on my big girl pants and I'm going to advertise. I'm going to stare at myself and edit videos of myself for hours on end. I'm going to try and find something to say. I'm going to try to learn and seek knowledge so that I can have the information and tools to articulate what I want to convey, and also being okay to be myself. And even if I'm not okay with that, still trying to lean into myself. And I was talking to a friend, and something that she had said, which was really, it was just a sweet reminder. And she's always been someone I admire for her ability to just speak up for herself, convey her emotions in a very healthy way, and also her faith. And she said something so simple. I was like, it's so funny, but I love how honest you are. I love how you're just really comfortable with being yourself. And she was like, I have nothing else that I can be. There's no other option for me except to be myself, And I just love that so much, and the way she phrased that, because it's like, I will fail at every other thing. I will fail at every other attempt at being someone I'm not. And there's a difference between saying you want to continue to better yourself versus being a completely different person who you think will fit a situation, who you think will fit this narrative that you have created in your head or that other people have fed to you. And I think that is really, really important, because a lot of the time we're afraid to start, we're afraid to do the assignments, we're afraid to apply, we're afraid to take that next leap of faith, because this narrative says that whoever that person is cannot be me because I have not seen it be me. And I don't know if that makes sense to you, but what that means to me is I have been afraid of doing content. I have been afraid of wanting to do the podcast and advertising myself and posting videos and linking my podcast and my channel on my, linking my podcast channel on my private Instagram, because I was like, oh my gosh, people are going to perceive my thoughts. People are going to be able to know what I really feel about things. And that was such a frightening thing for me. That meant that I had to exist. I had to take up space. I had to be okay with people saying something was wrong to them or that they disagreed with what I had to say. And would I be okay to take that step? What does that mean for me? And how do I consolidate the fact that I have to be able to know the difference between where you and your feelings end and when someone else's feelings and emotions start? And that is something that has been a whole thing for me. And I think Allah has given me the ability to test myself in this way, because I have for so long, as a recovering people pleaser, okay, I'm raising my hand because that was me, a recovering people pleaser, I for so long had to reconcile with the fact that I will not be responsible for how someone else feels. I mean that by, and of course I'm putting on the disclaimers because it's such a difficult thing to say without it coming off harsh from my perspective. And that is to say that I care about people. I will try my best. But if something triggers someone, if me just trying to show up for myself and talk about things and talk about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upset someone, what can I do? Allah gives people faith. Allah gives people the ability to know themselves, to discover themselves, and to be believers, and to desire Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the mercy of having our own different ways of taking things is that it allows for us to each be different individuals. And even when we take a step away from faith, just being able to say, this is who I am, this is what I want, this is what I do not want, is so fundamental to knowing what it is that your heart desires, and then being able to then translate it into your career, your hobbies, your personal relationships, so on and so forth. And I'm starting off this whole consistency conversation with this because I then discovered recently this conversation and this method, the home method, which is the heart over mind and ego method. And I don't remember the name of the person who created it, but I'll leave all of her information below. And long story short, she was saying in westernized media and westernized society, we are taught that we should prioritize prioritize what our mind has to say over what our heart has to say. And then she provided the beautiful example of when we're in sujood, when we're making, prostration to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our hearts are above, our chest is above our mind, our head is to the ground, and our heart is in an elevated position. In the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala references our heart when we talk about so many things that have to do with iman, so many things that have to do with our faith. That was so, so beautiful to me, because as the empath, as the friend who likes to listen, the oldest daughter that could, the only daughter that could, all these different things where we're meant to be the mediator, the ones that where we are hypersensitive because we're an empath who just cares so much about everyone, and all these things in between. There is a lot of sensitivity. There's emotional sensitivity that either we have to cover up or conceal, or that we lean into in order to take up space, in order to be the roles of the wife, the daughter, the so on and so forth. And so for me, and again in this heart over mind and ego method, it was so beautiful to be able to say our hearts are not in the wrong spot. And as we can see, a lot of things we're taught by Western media have failed us. They have not gotten us anywhere that we need to be whatsoever. And it's just allowing me to say, this is a different framework, and if it works, alhamdulillah. If it brings me closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a healthy way, in a halal way, that's beautiful. I love that. And so when we think again about the whole concept of emotions, and again having all of this encapsulate the conversation of presence and existing, I can then take the steps to say, if I know that I'm a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if I know that I'm a believer, if I know that I'm someone who wants to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as possible, and I can put that lens, if I can set that intention, because actions are judged by intentions, then I can say, okay, this is the goal. This is what I want to do, and I'm going to try my best to get there. And my day-to-day nuanced feelings do not have to be the guide. And that's kind of a lot for someone like me who leads by emotions. And the nafs, the ego, wants us to do that. When it comes to, and I'm going to keep using this example because it's the biggest example that I can think of at the moment, because it's most applicable to me, content creation. And for most people, I feel like they're also starting their content creation journeys as we're all trying to seek income and have our voices heard, start our businesses, so on and so forth. We are at a place where you have to take up space. You have to exist, whether you're a content creator or not, whether you are just talking about working and having to have your coworkers know what your ideas are. You have to speak up to your manager. You are trying to speak up within your family dynamics. You have to take up space. You have to know what it is you're desiring from these relationships. When you're in a married relationship, you have to know what it is your goal is from this relationship on the day-to-day. What are you trying to accomplish in this union? When you're in friendships, what are you guys spending your time doing? What is it you're trying to accomplish here? And sometimes your feelings, you're going to be annoyed by people, you're going to be upset by people, and that's okay. But it's being able to say, I need to stop, and I need to take a break, I need to take a breather, and I need to take a step back and reassess what's going on in my life. This beautiful method was saying that waswasa, the whispers of shaitan, and also discounting what your random thought that just passes through your head is, not paying it any mind whatsoever. Letting the thought that just passed in your head go. Let it go. Those are rational thoughts that you just are trying to explain and convince yourself of. Let it pass. Let it pass you by, and that's all right. Because what shaitan wants for us to do, what the devil wants for us to do is to be able to say, oh my gosh, I got her to start thinking about this. She's going to start considering it, and then it's going to snowball. You're going to be like, okay, well, maybe I am this person if I have these thoughts. Okay, well, maybe if I can't focus in salah, I should just stop praying altogether. If I'm not able to be the best student, maybe I should just stop trying. If I'm not able to accomplish everything on my to-do list, I might as well throw away the whole to-do list. And it's like, no, you're not supposed to do that. And when it comes to feelings, and again, tying these two things together, it's saying that, okay, I don't have the feeling for this in this moment. I'm not in the mood to do this thing right now. And so what? Okay, I don't feel like it. Great. Glad we established that. What's next? And so it's literally saying like, okay, I don't want to exercise today. Okay, thank you for that thought. Next, I still have to do this. This is still on my schedule. This is still something I plan to do today. I just have to do it. And that's it. Not giving it any more time. Not saying, okay, well, maybe if I do it later, if I push it off, okay, I need to do this and this and this. Maybe I just procrastinate on it and then try again later. Then it'll be fine. No. I have so much vigor talking about this because this is literally how my mind operates. And I think, again, when we're talking about being a sensitive person, it's a beautiful tool. It's a beautiful way to connect deeper to ourselves and to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when it stands in the way between becoming closer to Allah, becoming the person that you know will be a better member of society, a better someone who's more capable of taking care of themselves, taking care of the amana, the blessing Allah gave you of a healthy body, a sound mind, and being able to have the resources to work on those things, that's when it becomes an issue. Your feelings are not bad, they're not wrong, they're not inappropriate for you to have. It's saying that these feelings can exist, but I have to remind myself of what the truth is. And that's what it goes back to, establishing what you believe, what you want, and who you want to become. Because if you say that you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if you say that you believe in the Quran, if you say that you believe in the Sunnah, if you say that you want Jannah, what behaviors align with those things and locking in and taking us, and I know we always say lock in, but genuinely it's saying that I can have pleasure, I can have joy, I can have excitement, I can have all these beautiful other things in my life, and also I still have to show up for myself when I don't want to, when my feelings don't align with what I need to do. And I'm preaching to the choir. I know we all know this, I know this, but the reminders are very helpful, especially for me. And even on the instance of sitting here, I was like, I need to film. I had someone talk to me just the other day at a wedding, and she was like, oh my gosh, I didn't know you had a podcast. And I was like, oh my gosh. And so the whole cycle went through my head of like, before I would dismiss it away, I would not even talk about it. I would be like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about, girl? And I just pretend like, like I'd make a joke out of it and move on to the next thing. But I was like, yeah, I do. And I still joked about it because I'm still working on myself in that way. But I was like, yeah, I have a podcast. It's just something I have on the side. It's something I'm interested in, but I'm not consistent with it. And I acknowledged it. I accepted it. It's something I want people to know about. If it's about Allah, if it's about bettering yourself, of course, I want anyone who comes across it to take a look at it because I want that, alhamdulillah. So Allah gave me another set of eyes to look on something and to hopefully benefit from it. That's wonderful. That's nothing to be ashamed about or to run away from. But it's now saying, and this was the reminder from that conversation, I haven't posted in a month. I need to sit down and I need to record a video. I need to edit a video. I need to upload the video and promote it. And doing the steps to get there. Where I fall short is I will sit here and I will record the video and I'll say it's not good enough. I will say, oh my gosh, what am I even talking about? The lighting's not good, the quality's not good, whatever. And it's a wonderful trait, alhamdulillah, that I can hold myself to a high standard, but it's how can I make the best of what I have? In the same way, if an essay is due at 11:59, you're going to write the essay. Is it a good essay? I don't know. Is it A++ essay? I don't know if I would say that, but I'm going to try my best to get it done the best way that I can within this deadline because it's due. If I have committed to say I'm going to upload X, Y, and Z time every single week, then I need to do that every single week. I need to show up for myself and I need to stop comparing myself. I think that's where I also get myself stuck because I'm always like, I'm just watching other YouTube videos. I'm just looking at other people's social media so that I can get ideas or I can know what their strategy is. I have been watching YouTube videos for literally years, okay? I don't even know, over a decade, I'm sure. I think I got the general idea. I feel like I have a very analytical mind, alhamdulillah. I'm very much a processor. I'm always strategizing and seeing what people are doing. I'm very minute when it comes to seeing what's happening and how people are talking about things, what people in the comments are looking at. And that's a beautiful trait, alhamdulillah. But then what after that? It's saying, okay, great, you have all these skills and capabilities. Now what? What do you do with all of these traits? What do you do once you have accomplished all of these resources or you have accomplished obtaining all these resources and tools? You have to utilize them because, and something beautiful that I heard that I did not know about is that knowledge is for the believers. The believers it's something that we are given and it's something that we are blessed with and we are entitled to. And as we're on our journey in this dunya, we are reclaiming all the knowledge that is meant for us, subhanallah. It's just such a beautiful concept. And when you think about it like that, when you think about the fact that you have all the resources, you have everything you need, and you are here for the intention of inshallah pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you're just trying to figure it out, and Allah's giving you the resources to film, to upload, to do these things. You have the Wi-Fi, you have your phone, you have your ring light, whatever it is in your thing. If you have the job application, you have the referral, you have the skills, you have your resume updated, or you have a friend who knows a friend who knows a friend, you have the recommenders ready to allow you to apply into school. Again, all these more basic things that we are constantly in a cyclical desire for. We have all these things. What do we do now? How do we then show up for ourselves after we made the intention and sit down, as I'm doing, and say, okay, I need to film. Okay, now I need to edit. And that's okay. I don't want to. Okay? I'm sorry you feel that way, but we still have to do this thing. And it's literally like gentle parenting yourself. Like, honestly, the whole conversation of reparenting yourself, I don't know what hit, but I was listening to the Wizard Liz's video on like parenting yourself a few weeks ago or a month ago, and she had said something that was just along the lines of about how you have to take care of yourself, you have to mother yourself, you have to love on yourself, you have to give yourself boundaries as you would a child. And there's a whole, again, the reparenting yourself, the changing the mother wound and healing the mother wound and all those things, right? And they're all great, but I feel like hearing it like that was just really helpful, and it allowed me to take a step back and say, what do I want for my future children, inshallah? And I think having more children around me now, and me being more of an adult and having more younger people around me, I'm able to see, okay, if I say I want kids, what kind of lifestyle am I going to be putting them in? I do not want to set them up for a lifestyle of harm. A'udhu billah. That's not something I want. And so if I want to pass down healthy behaviors and traits to my nieces, my nephews, if Allah blesses me with children, inshallah, I pray that Allah does, what am I going to pass on to my children? So on and so forth and so on and so forth. So it's like, I'm in a community currently. What do I have? What can I make the most of? So in all, basically, this all is to say that, one, you cannot let your emotions and your feelings be the guide when it comes to doing something you already know you're supposed to do, but you just don't feel like it. Acknowledge you don't feel like it if you want to. If you don't, just acknowledge the feeling is there and keep it pushing. Like, okay, I don't want to do it. Next, like genuinely just like, okay, that's great, now what, like I have to do it. Not even now what, next thing is, that's it. Like, not leaving room for the flexibility of going with whatever your emotions want. It's saying, okay, I get that, now I have to do what I have to do, and that's it. If I'm tired, I'm tired, but I didn't accomplish what I'm supposed to accomplish. The same way we do with work, the same way we do with school, the same way we do with, like if we were working at a restaurant and we have a closing shift, we'd have to clean up the restaurant. We can't just say, oh, I'm so tired, oh my gosh, like, okay, go clean. Literally pick up your mop, pick up your broom, pick up the rag, and get to work. You're literally on the closing shift. You have to clean up no matter what. Or else there's going to be bugs, or else there's going to be flies and all these other things. And the same thing applies to your home. And that's something I heard this YouTuber describe it as a closing shift, and that was really helpful for me. I don't want the pests. I don't want the bugs. I don't want the mold, all these other things. So I have to put what I want or what I don't want at nighttime. If I stayed up late, that's on me. I still have to clean. I still have to take responsibility, because if not, it's only going to snowball into having a home that's not pleasant to be in. Who wants that? A'udhu billah. You know what I mean? No. You're a clean girl. You want clean spaces, inshallah. And the same applies for your room. I used to have a really, really messy, cluttered room. I was like afraid. And I think, again, this is where generalized anxiety versus regular fears and anxiety come in. But I was genuinely at a place where I would clean, and then I would be like, oh my gosh, like, it's messy, and it'd be like that state of paralysis, as opposed to being like, okay, I need to clean this up. Here are the steps I'm going to take to do so. I'm going to just start with this pile right here. My goal is, or what I have told myself is, every day for 15 minutes, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z thing. And the same applies for even now. I have to remind myself as I'm living with a whole nother person, sharing a room with this person, aka my husband, oh my God. I have to be like, okay, the infamous chair where I put like my hijabs that are, I'm not going to wear that day, but I'm looking for that certain hijab, or I did my makeup and I put my makeup away. I have to literally tell myself, okay, you don't want to do this right now, but if not, this is going to pile up and it's going to be messy, and I don't want to have a messy room. I don't want to have a messy space, and I'm not perfect. My husband will tell you I'm not perfect, but I do have more of an intention. I do have more mindfulness when it comes to having a shared space with someone, and do it for yourself. yourself first and foremost. Do it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because you want to be clean. You want to be a cleanly person, because that is of benefit. There is so much benefit to being clean. Your mental space is clear. You don't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this. The list continues to add on because responsibilities don't stop. So keep going and keep trying, even if it's small steps. The small steps are the most beautiful. And Allah loves small but consistent acts. So take those small steps. It's okay. Stop comparing yourself to these people doing major things. You're not there yet. You're here, and that's beautiful. You're alive today. Allah has given you another opportunity, and you will get to where you want to be, inshallah, if you just focus on today. That's something I had a really bad habit up to when it came to consistency. I would literally be so, again, the paralysis was so real. I would literally be like, I have to do 20 things right now. Which one do I do? Oh my God. And so I would just lay and I would waste. I doom scroll. Oh my gosh. Time just passed. What now? And it's not a healthy place to be, billah. It's so important for us to focus on the now. We don't have the next minute promised. We act as if we do. I don't know what's going to happen in 2 minutes. I don't know what's going to happen in 10 minutes. I don't know what's going to happen in an hour. I don't know what's going to happen in 2 hours. I pray Allah protects us and increases us and grants us the ability to live healthy lives. But I operate, and we're all operating as if we have the next minute. If I didn't have the next minute, what can I do right now? What's the least I could do right now? What's it? That's it. Literally just focus on right now. I can put this camera on the tripod and sit here. And then that's it. Check. Okay. I have to do this next. Okay. Check. That's it. Now I just need to take the next step, and one step at a time. That's literally my motto. That's what I tell all my little kiddos, aka my little cousins / siblings. I literally just have to remind them, because I had to remind myself when I was in college. Just take one step at a time. No one's asking you to be perfect. If the assignment takes longer for you than some other person, that's okay. If you're not married, if you're not having kids, if you're not, having the degree that you wanted, whatever, you don't have the the accolade that this other person at your workplace has, that's okay. If you just started, if you've been working super hard, maybe Allah has a different path for you, or maybe it's going to come when it's meant to come. Don't worry about the what if. Focus on now and what you can do to put yourself in a position to get to where you want to be. And sometimes that's just making tahajjud. And I'm calling myself out. That's something I need to do more of, inshallah. And making the dua that Allah gives you the strength and the discipline and the energy and the ability and the love to wake up to pray tahajjud, to wake up to pray qiyam, to wake up to even just pray fajr. If you're missing fajr, billah, if you're missing any of your prayers, and again, I'm speaking to anyone because I don't know who's watching, but if you're missing some acts of sunnah, if you're not praying the sunnah salah, make dua for that. We have to make dua. We have to believe in what Allah has told us and believe in what, again, that method that I was telling you. Don't put your mind and the logic and your ego first, because logically speaking, for the first person who was going to make content, it was crazy for them to say, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to talk to myself online to a bunch of strangers, and I'm going to make money off of it. And even then, they didn't even make money. It was just for community. People thought they were insane. And now there's a booming billions of dollar industry where women are getting paid to show their lives. They're getting paid to vlog their lives. Literally getting paid and have an income from promoting products, from promoting cleaning products, things they're eating, making recipe videos. There was a period of time where that would be an insane thing. And now we're in a period of time where Allah has made that an opportunity for risk. Isn't that so amazing? Alhamdulillah. And so when we think that it's so insane, it's so impossible, just genuinely take a step back and remember who we're thinking about. We're thinking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're thinking about Allah. Allah is Al-Razak. He is the provider. And we have to remember that. We have to really take a step back and remember that and believe that and remind ourselves of that, as we don't think about our breath every 5 seconds, but yet we still have breath. As we don't think about our heart beating, as we don't think about, okay, I need to get in my car today, and I'm not thinking about the fact that it literally could explode or something could go wrong. There's so many different things that we're not thinking about when we're just going about our day. Allah is providing it for us. And so I think it's so important for us to really take the time to think about that and to remember that as we're trying to be consistent and trying to believe that something is possible that we have never seen. And that's what faith is. You have to take and act in a way of belief when you've never seen Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but you see the signs everywhere. When Allah gives you the thought, oh my gosh, I'm getting emotional a little bit, but I just you know what I mean? I just had a little brain blast moment. But subhanallah, Allah gives us the resources, but we have to believe this is all trials, Do we think that we'll not be tested? SubhanAllah. Like, we will be tested. But we have to believe that Allah is capable of even changing our own conditions, but we have to change what is in ourselves. Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. And that's really scary, but it's really important for us to think about. Allah is not going to change you if you're sitting there not doing anything. You have to be aligned in your words and actions, because if you're acting in one way, but you say you want something else. Okay, so it got cut off. I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. But all in all, you have to believe that Allah is capable of changing you, but you have to take the action to change yourself. You cannot say one thing and do another thing. And that's something that I'm speaking to myself first and foremost every single time. I can confidently and shamefully say, like, astaghfirullah, I recognize in myself that I say I want something, but I'm not working towards it. I'm laying in bed, I'm on my phone, I'm doing X, Y, and Z thing. You have to remove the distraction and genuinely take steps, or else nothing's going to change. If nothing changes, nothing changes. You have to do something differently. You have to act differently in order to see change in your life. Just do something small. And stop focusing on what you feel in that moment. If you're embarrassed, I'm sorry, I'm so embarrassed, alhamdulillah, now what? Because if you're talking to a child, you would say, I know this is scary, but you can do it. You would acknowledge their feelings, but still motivate them to do something. So treat yourself like that sometimes, and trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So we reached the end of the video. I've been yapping for a little bit now. I really hope that this was helpful in some way. This was a really helpful reminder for myself. Thank you so much for watching this video. Leave a comment down below of something you feel like you've been struggling with in terms of consistency that inshallah you want to do better at, and anything that's helped you when it comes to consistency at all, whether it be a quote, a task type of management system, or anything really. I really would love to know. But thank you all so much for watching, and oh my gosh, another podcast episode 1 month later, but we're getting better inshallah. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bye.